Money is something we all think about, but do we really know how crazy the numbers are when it comes to wealth, income, and spending? You might be surprised by some of the money statistics that show just how unusual and mind-boggling the financial world can be. The numbers surrounding money often seem impossible to believe, but once you dig into them, you'll realize just how crazy the world of finance really is. Let's start with one of the most jaw-dropping facts out there. Did you know that the world's richest person, Elon Musk, is worth more than some countries' entire economies? As of recent years, Elon Musk's net worth has soared past $200 billion. To put that in perspective, that's more than the GDP of many small countries combined. The tiny nation of Sri Lanka has a GDP of about $84 billion, and Musk is worth more than double that. Imagine being so rich that your personal wealth is greater than the economic output of an entire nation. And Elon isn't the only one. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, was also worth over $190 billion before stepping down as CEO. The wealth of just a few individuals could fund massive projects and help millions of people, yet it's all tied up in the pockets of a select few. But if you think billionaires are the only ones with crazy numbers, think again. The income gap between the richest and poorest is more extreme than ever before. In fact, the world's top 1% now owns almost half of all the wealth in the world. It's crazy to think that a small group of people holds so much power over the global economy, while the rest of the population struggles just to get by. The world's poorest 50% own only about 1% of global wealth. That's a huge disparity, and it's growing wider every year. It seems almost impossible for the average person to catch up when the rich are taking such large chunks of the pie. And then there are the stats about everyday people, like how much money people actually spend. You might think that most people save their money, but in reality, many don't. In fact, a study from the United States found that 69% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings. That means nearly 7 out of 10 people would struggle to pay for an emergency expense like a car repair or a medical bill without going into debt. And when it comes to debt, the numbers are just as shocking. The average American owes over $90,000, including credit card debt, mortgages, and student loans. The average student loan debt alone in the U.S. is more than $30,000, and it's rising each year as tuition costs keep climbing. But the crazy money statistics don't stop there. Think about how much money is spent on things like coffee and fast food. In the United States, people spend more than $1,000 a year just for coffee. That's just for a daily cup of joe. And when you add up the costs of eating out, it's even crazier. The average American spends over $3,000 a year on dining out, which is a huge chunk of the budget for many families. If you think about it, this amount could go towards savings or investments, but instead, it's often spent on quick fixes that don't build long-term wealth. And let's not forget about the absurdly high prices of some luxury goods. For example, there are people who spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on rare luxury watches. One of the most expensive watches ever sold was a Rolex Daytona, which went for nearly $18 million at auction. This is a watch that, in most cases, tells the time just like any other watch, but it's the rarity and exclusivity that make it so valuable. And the prices of rare art are equally mind-blowing. A painting by Leonardo da Vinci, for example, was sold for over $450 million, making it one of the most expensive works of art ever sold. It's crazy to think that these items are worth more than most people will ever make in a lifetime. And the craziest part? Even though we spend so much money, many people still don't really know where their money goes. A survey found that nearly 60% of people don't keep track of their expenses at all. This lack of financial awareness is one of the reasons why so many people live paycheck to paycheck. Without a solid understanding of how money works, it's hard to make smart financial decisions that can improve your financial situation. And while some people are lucky enough to come into money, others have to work incredibly hard to build wealth, and often it feels like they're getting nowhere. But here's a twist. While many people live in financial uncertainty, others are taking advantage of investment opportunities to make more money. The stock market, for instance, has created countless millionaires over the years. Some of the wealthiest people in the world, including Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, made their fortunes by investing wisely in stocks. But not everyone has the time, knowledge, or patience to do that. Instead, a lot of people invest in things like cryptocurrency, hoping to get rich quickly. The value of Bitcoin, for example, has surged from just a few cents to over $60,000 per coin at its peak, making early investors very rich. However, cryptocurrency is still a highly volatile market, and while some people have made fortunes, others have lost everything. It's a high-risk, high-reward game that's left many people on edge. Then there's the massive scale of government spending. Governments around the world spend trillions of dollars every year. The U.S. federal government, for instance, has a budget that exceeds $6 trillion annually. To put that in perspective, that's more money than most countries' entire economies. The U.S. government also carries a national debt of over $30 trillion, which grows by the day. This debt has been accumulating for decades, and while it may not have an immediate impact on everyday citizens, it could lead to higher taxes and economic instability in the future.
Let's also talk about the wealth of the super rich, especially the top billionaires in the world. As of recent years, the wealth of billionaires has skyrocketed. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and other tech moguls have seen their fortunes increase by tens of billions of dollars in just a matter of months. In fact, the total net worth of the world's billionaires now exceeds $10 trillion. That's an amount of wealth that's nearly impossible to comprehend. These billionaires aren't just rich, they're influencing entire industries and economies. They're the ones making major decisions that shape the future of technology, space exploration, and even healthcare. The number of billionaires has increased significantly over the past few decades. In 1990, there were only 149 billionaires worldwide. By 2021, that number had skyrocketed to over 2,700. It's a reminder that the world of wealth is changing rapidly, with more people becoming incredibly rich at a younger age than ever before. And while some of these billionaires have made their money through traditional means like oil and gas, others have done it through tech startups, financial investments, and even cryptocurrency. In conclusion, the world of money is full of mind-boggling statistics that reveal just how much wealth exists in the world and how unevenly it is distributed. From billionaires who are worth more than entire countries' economies to ordinary people struggling with debt and savings, the financial world is a strange and surprising place. As you reflect on these crazy money statistics, it's clear that understanding money and how it works is more important than ever. Whether you're just starting your financial journey or already on your way to building wealth, it's crucial to stay informed, make smart decisions, and keep an eye on the bigger picture. The numbers might seem crazy, but they're part of a bigger story that's unfolding every day.